Hey everybody, welcome back to the Love Dogs channel. If you're new here, I'm Tiff. I'm a nature and landscape photographer. I have two dogs, Jaffe and Hazel, and we backpack every season and also travel around and car camp and hike. We share our adventures here on this channel, and I also share just a little bit of my artwork and others' artwork when I do art festivals and things like that. So basically this channel is about all things outdoors and dogs and being creative. So today's video, actually I'm pretty excited about this. Those of you who have been following me for a while know that last season I was trying really hard to get my backpack weight down for the backpacking season. The shelter system was the last thing that I had to really get the weight down on. I had kind of gotten the weight down on everything else but the shelter system, and they're very expensive, so it took me a while to be able to afford to do it. But last season I finally was in a position where I could do that, and I wanted a Durston X-Mid Pro. That's the tent that I wanted from the beginning. However, it was out of stock and it wasn't going to be back in stock until after I had already left for my backpacking trip. I should have just waited and packed my Big Agnes Tiger Wall. That's what I had been using before, but I got impatient and I bought the Zpacks DupleXL instead, and I thought that would work for me. I thought I would be happy with it. And it turns out there were several things that actually really frustrated me about it. And the first thing was that the pole is right in the middle of the door, and the dogs kind of struggled with it. I struggled with it, just kind of finagling around this pole in the center of the doorway. I also didn't like the floating floor at all. I added the floor hack to try to keep the floor down, and that helped, but I still just wasn't a very big fan of the floor and the way it was made. And so yeah, so I decided to just put the Zpacks DupleXL on eBay, and I sold it with the poles that I had bought to use with it, because I don't hike with trekking poles. So I had bought the Zpacks tent poles to use with it, and I ended up selling the poles with the tent because I thought it would make it a more appealing deal, but also because the Zpacks tent poles are not adjustable height. And so I figured if I was going to sell the Zpacks and get the Durston that I originally wanted, that it was probably a good idea to just go ahead and get the Durston Z-Flix poles, which are adjustable in height. They weigh just a little bit more than the Zpacks tent poles, but not that much. And the adjustability really is a huge factor. When you're backpacking, you're not always camping on flat terrain. And so when you're not on flat terrain, you need to be able to adjust the tent poles on one side or the other to get a good pitch on uneven ground. So I'm really happy to say anyway that a few months ago I actually sold the Zpacks to a nice guy who was getting ready to take a trip with his wife, and he was looking for the Zpacks. Mine had a hole in it that was patched, so I did sell it for a pretty discounted price, but it was still enough that I could at least get pretty close to the Durston price-wise. So this nice guy bought my Zpacks off eBay, shipped it off to him, and then I immediately took that money and put in my pre-order for the Durston X-Mid Pro, which shipped in April, and I just got it yesterday. So I actually was planning to come out camping yesterday, and then as soon as I saw that the tent was on its way, that it was being delivered yesterday, I actually delayed leaving so that I could grab the tent and bring it out here and do a video about the tent while I was here. So I have the tent. I'm super excited about this thing. I don't have the poles yet. I just ordered the poles because they just came back in stock. So for now, I brought my trekking poles, and we're gonna just set it up with the trekking poles. I've been waiting all day to do this video because it's really windy. So I'm kind of waiting for the wind to die down at least a little bit to take this tent outside and set it up. It'll be the very first time I've ever set it up. Let's open this box up. It's time. It feels like nothing is in here. I mean, okay, it feels like there's something in here, but it's super light for a tent. Crazy light. So cool. To pick up a box that has a tent in it and it's so light, I mean, this is just crazy to me. Like, this is like nothing I ever grew up with or used in the past. So this is really exciting to me. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm getting the dogs excited now. They think it's for them, which honestly it kind of is, but look at this. It's so small. I've waited so long. I should have gotten this to begin with instead of the Zpacks, but here we are. I finally have it. I'll put the weight on the screen and also the comparison to the Zpacks DupleXL weight. Wow, okay, it's windy, but we gotta see if we can do this, wind or no wind. All right, so we're gonna give this a shot. It's windy. This is the first time I have ever set this tent up. I read the instructions on the site yesterday and I have a very poor memory, so, and I don't have internet here, so I can't look it up. Let's see how I do. I really don't want to get this dirty. Oh my gosh. It's so shiny and soft, and I really don't want to get it dirty. I'm trying to connect the bag to my tripod so it doesn't blow away. What is that? Oh, it's guideline. Maybe I'll put that back in the stuff sack since it's trying to blow away. So I'm gonna try it with my shepherd hook stakes. I do have groundhogs as well. Just a tip, when you're messing with stakes, especially these shepherd hook stakes, because they're so pointy at the end, just put them down when you have your tent in your hand. I've put so many holes in my tents with the stakes, just being careless about holding them while I was putting the tent up. Here's one corner. This is a very realistic backpacking scenario. This is a corner. I'll do a better video when it's not windy, I promise. Now, I have seen people put their trekking pole through the vent, which I guess is okay. I would be very, very careful about that because I'd be terrified that I'd puncture the netting. So I'm gonna do it this way. I'll give you guys a up close detailed look at the features as soon as I get it up, but right now it's amazing. The detail that's put into this is just remarkable. So there's a little loop to put the tip of your trekking pole into. So we got that. And I don't remember what height it's recommended for the trekking pole height, so I'm just gonna prop it up here until it looks taut. That looks pretty good. So there's a little elastic loop right here that you put the tip of your trekking pole into. And then this end goes in the cup. we'll just raise this. I like the magnets on the door. No matter how many pitching videos you watch on this, it is a little bit weird. So it's like a parallelogram inside a rectangle. Let me just give you some detailed look at this. This is beautiful. It's possible I'm overreacting, but this is just a gorgeously constructed tent. Really well thought out. So there is a peak vent right there. There's like a teeny tiny little carbon fiber, I'm guessing, rod in there. And there's Velcro on the other side of this flap. So all you do is you match up Velcro pieces, and now you have your tent vented. I'm assuming this piece right here is to close it. The floor of the tent is a parallelogram, and that is inside the rectangle that the fly creates. Now this isn't two separate pieces. This is a single wall tent. It's sewn. So you can see here is the seam. So the inner is sewn to the rain fly. This is a single wall tent. So this wall is DCF and the side walls are netting. Got nice magnetic door closures. And it seems to really grab. That magnet seems pretty strong to me. There's the door zippers. Wow, nice. Again, it has an elastic loop at the bottom here for the tip of your trekking pole to go into. And then your pole goes up into a pole cup up there. It's just a reinforced cup that you put your trekking pole, the top of your trekking pole, the handle, into. So trekking poles go tip down. And you can see the corners of the tent. You've got a top tie out and a bottom tie out. It's a bungee. There's another little bitty, I'm guessing carbon fiber stay in there, really tiny, but it gives the floor some structure in the corners. And then when you stake this out, you're staking out both top and bottom of that corner, and it meets the fly, the DCF right here, and then pulls out to stake out. Same thing over here. I could see wanting to use this tie out right here just to keep that taut. You see there's like a little shelf in there. That's where condensation slides down the DCF material and then just drips out of that netting. But once again, we've got a corner that has some structure with that little bitty tiny carbon fiber stay, and then the top and the bottom is pulled out into a triangle, and then that has a guy line going out to the corner of the door flap here where you stake it out. I guess we should probably go inside, huh? So you can see on the Durston how the pole is on the end of the door. This is the door right here, and the pole is over here. And then this is vestibule space right here. But look how nice and easy the zippers open with one hand. I thought the Zpacks opened nicely with one hand. This is so much easier. I did not think that this would be bigger than the Zpacks DupleXL, but it does feel like it. This is not a perfect pitch by any means. I mean, look at the wrinkles in the floor. This is not a perfect pitch. And I still feel like I have so much more space than I did in the Zpacks DupleXL. As you probably have seen in other YouTube videos, the floor of this tent is not a rectangle, it's a parallelogram. The ends do not meet at the same points on the foot end or the head end. This side is the same length as this side, but one is offset, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But this is how he's allowed more headspace. and the offset trekking pole design. This is just brilliantly designed. I can't even, like, I'm totally geeking out over this. This is just beautiful, and I cannot wait to use it on the trail, and I really hope the dogs don't tear it up. The zippers are just so smooth. It's like butter. This is just beautiful. I love it. And I'm hoping that the Z-Flix poles work just as beautifully as trekking poles do in this. Even the condensation shelf here is so much bigger and farther out from the tent floor than it was in the Zpacks DupleXL. It's pretty awesome. And there's a tie-out loop right there, so you can pull that out and keep it away from the tent. These are little bungee cords. You can roll the netting up and tie it off up there if you wanted to hold the bug net door open. But look at this, the pole is exactly in line with this wall right here where the side of the door is. It's not in the way. The vestibule, the fly, is magnetic, and I can just reach up here and pull it off and the fly drops. No more toggle to have to fiddle with. Oh. So let's just see how much vestibule space we're looking at here. And of course, you'd want to probably stake that out if you're going to use the actual vestibule space. You can stake that out. But that's pretty significant. I mean, I definitely could leave my packs and the dogs' packs out here. No problem. Especially once I have it staked. And then, of course, there's going to be one on that side as well. So plenty of vestibule space. The walls are steeper in here. And so, you know, in the Zpacks DupleXL, they slanted more. And even though the tent was longer, the walls were still slanted. And so the dogs still hit the walls pretty easily. And in this thing, the walls are steeper. And so I don't really see the dogs hitting the walls and knocking condensation off as being as much of an issue in this tent. And I guess the pockets are new on this edition. That's fine. I would have bought it without them, but I'll use them since they're here. Just basic pockets, that's all you need. Oh, and I'm getting all this stupid West Texas pokey shit in it. I could definitely see myself setting this up with only 4 stakes, unless the weather was bad. We're just gonna take this in the big tent and clean it and fold it. I didn't fold it very neatly. I wasn't really sure how to fold it back. I'll figure that out. But I did get it back in the stuff sack, which is great. I didn't really struggle with it at all. I went right back in, and I know I can fold it better than I did. I've been trying to lighten my pack for years now. You know, one big item at a time. This was the last big item I had to cut the weight on. The Zpacks tent just did not work well for us, and this one I really think is. I'm really excited about it just after having set it up and sat in it. There's so much more headspace. So yeah, I'm really excited about getting this out on the Colorado Trail this season and getting the dogs in it, even though I'm like super worried to tear it or get it even dirty. I'm just like, I want to keep it brand new forever, but of course that's not realistic. But yeah, I'm really stoked about this tent and using it this season. If you have any questions about it, drop them in the comments. I'm not sure I'll be able to answer them yet because I haven't actually used it on trail, but I'll do my best. And I'm also going to go and read up on the Durston Gear website to figure out what the perfect pitch is and all of that. I'll do another video soon, and I'm going to try to figure all this out, and I'll just share it with you as I go. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.